Hello and welcome back to episode 2 of Mind the Gap. Different overlay. We got a cool logo up in the corner now, Mind the Gap with Vedi Jatt. We changed the order of the names because there's a top-rated comment that said we should. This week, LEC Versus has played their first week. We're going to start with that. But because LCS Lock-In is starting this weekend, we'll do more LCS than we did last episode.
Yeah.
But also we're going to talk about the game. So that's a lot to pack into our 60-minute goal, Vedius.
Yep.
We're trying for the 60-minute goal. I know some people say they want a longer podcast.
I know.
I think 60 minutes is a sweet spot.
I agree. It makes them want to go every week. Every week they want to come back for more.
60 to 70. If we have too much overflow, we might do a second episode on Thursday, but that's crazy.
Okay,
I don't think we'll ever do that.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
That's too much. That'll be dumb.
Before we do anything, I have to apologize because last week I was just blatantly incorrect. Okay.
About
FPX wasn't at Worlds in 2020. Okay, that didn't happen.
Okay, sure.
I messed up the years. My point would have been better if I used 2019. And the truth is, chat, that we're old. Okay, we're just old, and we both have a really bad memory, and we both remember the incorrect things, and we both
I disagree.
need to improve that together.
I don't think
as a
anyone
team.
cared. 2020.
I cared. I was so
didn't see
proud.
anyone complaining
I
about
cared
this.
about
Why are
my
we hating the
history.
episode?
I'm so proud of my understanding of or memory of league history. That
Okay.
to get stuff like that wrong
you think
upsets me.
You think I have bad memories? Let's give me the groups. Okay. Group stage 10 years ago of Worlds, 2016. Who was in what group and what was their record? I think I can do everything perfect right now.
You really think so? Group
think
stage
so.
2016 Worlds.
10 years ago.
2016.
What was
Worlds.
everyone's? There were 16 teams in groups.
Yep. The thing is,
I'm
I
gonna
only
start.
remember the EU.
I'm gonna
teams.
start.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to start, okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Samsung, 5-1, RNG, 3-3, TSM, 3-3, Splice, 1-5. That's one of the groups.
Did you open the Leaguepedia right now?
No. I'm just
Okay.
proving to you that I have a good memory. So that's one of the groups.
Okay.
Done.
Shit. Okay. Fair.
H2K won their group. All right. I'm getting a little scared now.
Yeah.
But they were in a group with EDG,
H2K
AHQ.
They did win that.
They won their group.
Yeah, they did. Because of the tiebreaker.
So, yeah. AHQ, EDG, and a Brazilian team, INTZ.
yes.
INTZ won one game.
You didn't give the score
So they were
though, for
1-5.
H2K or EDG.
I believe it was. This is where I'm getting.
They were 4-2, both of them. I know they were.
They were both 4-2.
Because they went 1-1 in the group. That's why they had a tiebreaker.
Yeah.
And then they
but
both
that means
teams beat INTZ. No, INTZ
So
beat
INTZ
EDG
won 5.
once.
correct.
But then
Which makes me think EDG was, but you can't have 2 3-3s, a 4-2, and a 1-5. And I don't think INTZ was 2-4. So I think EDG went 4-2. Yeah, because there must have been a tiebreaker.
Yeah,
so
that was
I'm going H2K 4-2, EDG 4-2, 3-3, and 1-5.
Okay.
Okay, then this is where it gets crazy. We got Albus Nox Luna,
Yep.
CLG,
G2.
G2, and Rox.
It was Rox, yeah. And then that was the group that it
Rox
was Rox
and Albus Nox both went 4-2.
It was Albus Nox, yeah.
But Rox won the tiebreaker to win the group.
Yep.
CLG beat G2 both times,
Went
beat
3-3.
Rox once, but lost both times to Albus Nox Luna, so went 3-3.
Yep. And then G2 went 1-5,
Yeah,
I think.
and then G2 went 1-5. So I'm cooking. We have good memories. There's
and
one
then
more group.
Splice was in the last group.
No,
And
Splice was in the TSM group. That's where I
was
started.
going to say TSM was in the... Oh, that's where you started?
No, we already did that group.
Oh, you did
Yeah,
that
we
one.
already-
My bad.
So there was one other group. There was T1 Flash Wolves, Cloud9, and this Chinese team called IME.
No. Was IME at that? I'm double checking that.
And T1 went 5-1. C9 went 3-3. Flash Wolves went 3-3. And then Flash Wolves might have went 2-4.
It was
and IME went 1-5.
IME. SK
Okay,
went...
I can't believe we opened the podcast with this stupid little challenge when we said we were time constrained. I don't think did I get all the games right? Are you looking at it?
T1 is 5-1, Cloud9 is 3-3, IME is 2-4, Flash Wolves is 2-4.
Okay, I messed up IME by one game because my math was wrong, but I was close.
Yeah, and then everything else was
Okay.
correct. RNG and TSM both went 3-3, and then TSM must have lost the tiebreaker.
Because everyone's been doing that 2016 crap online, so I figured, 10
Have
years
they?
ago.
you're more
Yeah,
up to
because
date with
that was 10
trends
years
than
ago.
I am. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, everyone's posting photos. I just don't have enough photos of myself 10 years
You
ago.
know, that was my first year casting. May 8th will be my 10-year anniversary, right?
Wow, congrats.
Thanks.
I thought about doing the meme of just posting like a selfie from today and then saying it was 2016.
Okay, what meme is that?
Well, because people say that I don't age, so I would have just played into the joke.
Okay.
I mean, I think I still have my Worlds hoodie. Anyway, dude, okay.
Fair enough. Point proven. Your memory's great. My memory, not so
Timestamps.
great.
Yes.
Great. That was a fun little intro. That was a fun game. We should play that game every week. Anyway.
You know who else was playing in 2016?
Tell me.
Reckless. He
Yes.
was already a star. He played this weekend.
Beautiful.
With Los Ratones. You need to give me some lore about this team because to me, they were the most interesting team in LEC.
Yeah.
I made one tweet after game one that just popped off like crazy with impressions.
Okay.
There are so many people hate watching this team, but they're getting the most viewers. Just tell me a little bit about how this became so controversial for those that are uninformed. Even though this is probably dumb because they're the most popular team in the league, it feels like. So everyone probably knows their story, but give me the recap.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, they're definitely the most popular English-speaking team, but...
Yeah, fair. English
But because the way that the viewership in LEC works now is it's like very spread out. Like there's a lot more, you don't get all of the viewership centered on English speaking channels. Like there's now a massive French audience, a massive Spanish audience, a very healthy German audience. But the German audience is usually divided between English and German speaking. But basically, from what I understand, the Kometo and Ibai were very upset with this situation.
And they were outspoken about it too.
Yeah, absolutely they were. Yeah. Simply because they went through a lot of effort to get into the league, and it's easy for them to look at this and see a situation. Oh, LR is doing good viewership. Let's change the format to allow them to participate. So I understand that it would make sense to me that a lot of KC fans and a lot of MKOI fans would want them to fail. In the same way that when KC joined the league, a lot of people wanted KC to fail. Because
true, and they did at first, right?
They
10th
10th was their first two splits.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
okay.
because I mean it was the exact same thing. I mean, so I think with any dedicated team that has a loyal fan base, there are annoying fans that make proclamations, right? And before KC joined the league, there were a lot of KC fans saying because back then I think that they had won 4 EMEA Masters. I don't remember if it was in a row or not. I really don't. But KC has 4 EMEA Masters titles or something. Seiken was basically running circles around all the ERLs, and so they'd committed to keeping a lot of the pieces of this roster moving into the ERL, but the rule had changed. They wanted to bring Callista in for their first year but couldn't, so I think that they signed Upset in their first year with the expectation
Didn't
of them bringing
they had
Callista.
Reckless too. Reckless is actually just the king of ERLs.
Yeah, that was he did participate in the ERLs. Yes, I think that was just before he went to T1 for a year.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, and so in the same way that they kind of had high expectations, a lot of their fans thought I mean, I remember comments being winners of EMEA Masters should be in the conversation for a world spot. I remember that. And obviously that's just ludicrous. That was just a ludicrous take. But it was the same thing where I think that when people see Nemesis, Crownshot, and Reckless on the same team, and the fact that they were winning, they did make EMEA Masters look quite easy. They won winter quite comfortably. They won spring quite comfortably. And while they were dropping games here and there, summer was the first time where they actually got really punished for it, and it was by KCB. And so there was already a rivalry being developed between the two organizations in the ERLs. But yeah, I just think that there's definitely a lot of bad blood. And I don't know if you saw the tweet that KC made as well. They made a tweet they showing the exit where they even filmed Cadril leaving, and I think that really annoyed him. And he also then didn't comment on it, and we're getting kind of in the drama territory, which I kind of want to avoid, but you can tell that there's beef there, to say the least. And now LR has lost to both KC teams. They lost to KC and KC Blue, and KC
Which
Blue,
shout out to the schedulers, by the way, for throwing that in there. Because I think part of this that is just dynamic to me is there's like a lot of times. I think one of the reasons, and this is going to get a little meta, one of the reasons that LEC and LCS struggle a little bit in viewership is because a lot of fans don't necessarily have a strong reason to care.
Absolutely.
Because really early on, like back in 2016 that we just covered, back then there was all this hope that, oh, TSM's really good. They're competing with Samsung. Maybe they're going to make like world semifinal, world finals. And you want to be the best team in the world. And that was where you were emotionally attached to your team. But after like 10 years of not doing that, you need to then focus on your domestic league to care. But what I feel like Los Ratones has done, especially with how they streamed their practice, they had so many popular players, a bunch of people got attached to this team. But then, like, you can feel the genuine emotion that's tied into these games. Like, a lot of the LEC teams want to humiliate them. But then they just... And I can't even tell if Los Ratones is having fun anymore. Because I think ERLs was really fun because it was like the idea of this content team worked incredibly well. Baus being in competitive play is just must-see TV all the time. Yeah. Reckless, still at it. Getting to see him play support is amazing. Nemesis, a lot of people consider him their best player. Like, it's just extremely entertaining, plus getting to see all their practice. But now we're not seeing their practice. I thought... And we need to get to the gameplay. I don't want to do full drama as well, but like I just found it really strange. I watched the pregame for game 2, and like Shox is doing this interview backstage. They toss. They say it's going to be Nemesis. Seemed like Nemesis didn't want to do it, even though she said he wasn't feeling well. Maybe he's sick, but she talked to Crown Shot instead. Reckless wasn't even on camera. Then he like flies out on camera to walk through to the stage. Like there's so much tension brewing beneath the main broadcast that is just fascinating to me. Now, okay.
Well, just to comment on that, so I think that what Casey, what Koi, and what LR have all demonstrated is that the way people have attached to esports is the same way that they did it back in the day. Because I know that TSM became popular because a lot of those players just streamed themselves, right? Like,
yeah, and the origin story was cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I think that's a big thing.
In the same way that like I was a TSM hater back in the day. I was the biggest CLG EU fan. Like that, they were my team 100%. But the same reasons, I watched all their streams. Like I remember one, what was it? Insomnia in the UK was our big LAN, and I met Snoopy there, and it was such a fanboy moment for me because I was like, oh my goodness, like the guy that I've been watching stream all the time is here to watch me. Well, not just me, but like he's here to watch the games here. And it was absolutely awesome. I still remember their World Championship where the pause series against Team WE that they eventually ended up winning out, right? Like that, all that stuff. I was super attached. But again, I got to watch all their streams. Like I watched Crepo, I watched Snoopy, I watched Froggen, I watched them all. And you build that relationship with these players because you get to see them all the time. And then when they compete, you get to kind of support the players. So then when it becomes detached, it becomes harder to form that attachment. So I think that that's one of the biggest challenges. And I think that's why Koi, KC, and LR have all succeeded in building such healthy fan bases, is because they've created that ease of access into the players, and people have been able to attach them. But I think the reality is that whenever you see a team succeed, and whenever you see a team like, I mean, LR kind of got everything that they wanted, and I don't really blame teams for feeling frustrated about that. You know, like it's understandable. But in terms of the tension thing, like I know for a fact that a lot of the players were just nervous for their first week back in the LEC, like getting back into the flow. Reckless was joking about it on Cadrill's co-stream, how it's so different now compared to when he was competing. Like our studio is completely different. The workflows, the systems, everything behind the scenes is just super, super different to what it used to be like for a lot of these veterans. And so I know for a fact that like a lot of them were just kind of getting used to it. Velia was genuinely like, he was just really enthusiastic and happy to be there. Baus was a good sport and he was just having a good time. And so on that end, I would definitely say that the players are having fun, but the reality is that like no one likes losing, and being the only team to go 0-3. Like I think low key they really wanted SK to win against G2 because then at least they wouldn't be the only 0-3 team. But now most of the league is either 1-2 or 2-1. So it's a bit rough for them, and they're in theory easiest competition in KCB, which for the record, like I told you last week, that roster, like most of it was picked apart. The only remaining player, from what I remember, is Yukino, and
Mm-hmm.
Tao and the bot lane all came from second division, which is LFL 3, not LFL 2.
Yeah.
It's like, so you've got the LFL. Oh yeah, well I guess yeah, it's tier 3 in the sense you've got LEC, then LFL, and then second division LFL, and they came from second division LFL, which like to come from there to then LEC is a big gap. It's a very big gap. So people did not have high expectations for KCB at all, and then they beat LR. So naturally they will kick LR when they are down. They will take that opportunity to kick them while they are down. Absolutely. But to be fair to KC had to eat this. Excuse my French. They ate the same shit in the first year when they finished 10th place. That team ate shit from the whole community. No one let them let it down because they came in so cocky. And I don't even think LR came in that cocky. But I know that we've heard comments like, I remember some of the players, I forget who it was, but they said that like they think they could comfortably beat. They were better than like bottom 4 LEC, right? Like. And I mean, I think that it's very easy to look at LEC teams and sit there and go, wow, they're not that good, right? But the thing that I think everyone forgets is it's all relative. They're bad relative to other LEC teams. And you can sit there and you can say that the top LEC teams are bad, but like, it's all relative, bro. It's all relative. And so many ERL teams have had a big reality check whenever they've come from ERLs to LEC, just because the practice is different, the structure is different, and the discipline is very different. And we saw that quite a few times this weekend, I think.
I do like the concept of LEC versus, just because it just creates tension. Like the LEC teams want to prove that they deserve to be
absolutely
on salary and playing in LEC, and then the ERL teams get to prove that they're worse. This happened in this is the way I felt in 2021 in LCS, back when they still used to have academy teams for every team. Like, I actually felt at the time that a lot of the academy teams, there were probably like 4 academy teams that would be able to go like 50% against the bottom 4 or 5 LCS teams. But you never got to see
an academy team when you were on TL?
We did. Yeah, we had TLA, and pretty much every player on that team ended up in LCS. So like, they were, at least for a time, they were good. Like, our academy team that year was Bob Jenkins, Armeo, Harry, LYON, and Ayla. So, like, 2 of the, LYON is one of the best players in the league now. But, like, at the time, they were good. They would take, 30, 40% of scrims off main team. But then, I think it was FlyQuest at one point. It could be a different team. Like, just threw their whole academy team in the LCS, and they went 3-0 in a week. Like, there was like, I felt like it, but you get that from the ERL system right now. I do wish there was a slightly better way of keeping ERL continuity through to the LEC, which with the year break is a little different. But okay, we're like 20 minutes in, dude. We're doing terrible on time.
I mean, but that's part of the fun of a podcast, no? Like, we're just supposed to chat, like, and it's fine if we don't follow our structure. And isn't that also why you wanted to do this podcast with me? Because we chat?
Yes, for the banter. Why did they lose? Did they suck? What is your opinion on them?
My honest opinion is that like I did not watch their third game as closely as I would have liked to, but I did watch the first 2 games quite closely, and their very first game against Fnatic was simply because they made some very important mistakes at very important moments that just cost them everything. And like, I personally think that Velia re-engaging around Baron, if he hadn't done that, like, the game would have stayed even for a little bit longer. But he just made a poor decision, immediately got punished for it. And then and then Crownie, along with Velia, got caught in mid. Like, and I think that was also quite silly. And then in game 2, I think that they were actually doing pretty well. And then Valia's like invading red. He realizes he can't steal red. He then goes top. And then there's that Rise ult situation where, I don't know if you saw it, but he's trying to escape with the Rise ult. And then there was that big debate about like, did he click out? I wish that I had a pro view, because I didn't get a pro view. But obviously from my POV, it looks like that he's clicking out. But I have no idea why you would ever do that. Like, because you've got someone behind you, and I don't, like, what would he attempt to sidestep? I'm pretty sure it was a Wukong who was chasing him. And so in my mind, I'm like, I don't know what would cause him to click, which made me think initially that it was actually he got creep blocked. So I thought that
Oh,
because
the
he was
turn
running
him.
inside a minion wave and he was clicking, what happened was he caught up to a minion, and then like the pathing kind of took him up and around the minion rather than underneath it.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was what I initially thought. But if that had happened, then in theory, because he was still on the edge, he still should have gone with the Rise portal, which then suggested to me that he clicked out. So I don't know exactly what. I didn't get to see his POV. I don't know what ended up happening. But the more egregious thing about that was then Crownie immediately got caught afterwards. And
Yeah, because
like,
he was still checking River. And then
yeah,
just,
and so
they
to
didn't have
me,
numbers
like
and he
the
died.
one that has kind of personally frustrated me is I think like Crownie has just gotten caught more than I expected. I think that he's made mistakes that I did not expect of him. Like as much as I read some of the threads, so I saw a lot of the community sentiment was naturally centered towards Velia, which I understand why they would want to, like, why they would focus on that, because it was kind of the more egregious situations. But there are a couple of times where Crownie just got caught that I was like, this is a very silly mistake for someone of your experience and caliber. Like this is a really, really silly mistake that I would not expect from you, and I thought that it was quite poor as well. Now I do think the team, like, Velia did some interview again, and like I should really get better at learning who actually these interviews come from. But he basically mentioned the only thing that is important is that he mentioned that he feels like the team doesn't have a shot caller, and I feel like that is very much the case. They do not have a person that. I feel like they put a lot of the engage responsibility onto Velia, and I do not think that he just has the experience to know when is right and to lead that team to start a fight or not. And then it kind of falls on individuals to kind of get creative and find angles where they can, and that just leads to poor coordination and execution. Mechanically, I don't think they're terrible. I think that their laning is completely fine. I think Baus, in terms of lane, has done much better than I expected. I think he has had silly deaths, but I don't think that his deaths have kind of directly led to... There was one death that he had where there was a fight around Raptors in their third game against KC, and he basically went underneath the tier 2 tower, and I think that death was quite bad. But I didn't fully watch the setup in that. But I think that they have very serious coordination issues, and I think that without a clear leader that's basically telling the whole team where to go, or like someone basically deciding we should engage now. It's weird to think, but like if they had someone like a Hilly on their team that basically told the team, right, okay, we're fighting now, like that they could all just follow. That's what I think would do them favors. Whether it was right or not, I think they just need someone that has a lot of confidence and experience to know, okay, we should be fighting. This makes a lot of sense. Let's do this, and let's execute.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you said. They're also under such an extreme microscope. Like, I think there were 18 games last week, and you're talking about one specific play where Baus had this one bad death. There's a bunch of top laners that had bad deaths throughout the entire week, but they just didn't end up 0-3. The one thing that I think we need to touch on is the 0-0-0 game from Reckless, because, oh my God, if there's ever a scoreline that caught fire on Twitter, it was that one.
Yeah.
Did you see someone went back? Medic was talking about this with Shakrez, I think, of like, in the history of the LEC, there's only been 4 support games where they go 0-0-0. It's actually insane. But like, okay, just my take on the 0-0-0 thing is there were a few moments in the early game where he could have played a little bit more aggressive. But I also feel like in those moments, playing more aggressive wouldn't have actually led to him dying. And you actually need a lot of luck to go 0-0-0. There's like the percentage of games where your team has 1 or fewer kills is also probably very low in LEC history.
Probably, yeah.
I would imagine. And they had 1 kill in the Fnatic game. So already, and then at this point, we're flaming him for not dying.
Wow,
like,
Jatt's already a Reckless apologist. That's crazy. He's
know.
already
This
back in
this
that.
This is what I got labeled immediately. They're just like, are you trying to say Carrier would go 0-0-0? It's like, no, I am not saying that. But I just think that it's not that big a deal that he didn't die in a game.
I also didn't think it was that big of a deal.
Because, to your point, the first 2 games, this always leads to a snowball defeat whenever it happens. If you make a critical mistake right after 20 minutes, the game always ends up looking way worse than it was.
Sure.
And that happened both times in their first 2 games. They were pretty close until a huge mistake, and then it's over.
Yeah.
So you can really boil, and up until that point, I think overall their laning, to your point, was fine. Their team fighting was fine. And then in game 3, Nemesis almost did the 1v9. They had some insane Mundo
Yes, he
Oriana
did.
ults.
That's true.
So, like, I really do feel like they're going to be able to win some games. And I think I want to leave it at that for now.
Sure.
But there are so many hate watchers.
There absolutely are.
It's
There's a ton.
crazy.
There's
More stuff than I've ever seen in the last few years. It's incredible
Yeah.
how many people.
Yeah. I mean, I feel bad for the players. Kind of like that's where my focus always is, because like regardless of whatever drama is happening outside the game, right? Like I can tell you firsthand experience. The Koi players are some of the sweetest, nicest players I've ever met. The KC players, some of this, like the first time I met Calist, he was such a humble young man. He was so respectful. He was so easy to talk to. And before he joined the league, he was nothing but respectful and excited. And then a lot of the LR players too, like I have extensive histories with them. And like Velia came into the caster room to play ping pong, and he was just happy as can be. And so, like, I absolutely adore the players, and I know that, especially in the age of social media right now, it's really tough on them. And so, I hope the players are okay. Like, obviously, it was always going to be difficult for the LR squad, but naturally for Velia, who has high aspirations, a lot of eyes are on him, and I can imagine that he feels this pressure to perform when. Like, I don't know what the motivations are for a lot of the players, but in my mind, like, Baus's long-term goal is not to make it into the LEC, right? Like,
definitely.
And I don't know about Crowny, Reckless, or Nemesis, and about like, is they're super motivated to come back, or if this was just a part-time project for them and they still want to be streamers in the long run. But I know for Velia, like his long-term goal is to be a competitor, right? And I can imagine that stuff like this really gets to him and stress. And I just hope that he's doing all right, and that the competition isn't.
I think I am actually an LR apologist. I hadn't
probably.
I
mean, I'm just going to be super clear. They are
before.
not that good. They're really like they are right now fighting for 10th place. Like
I
if
think
they're
they
lucky.
will win a game, and like that's my hot take. Is like they're not going to go 0-11, guys. I don't think so. And if they do, egg on my face.
I think they will go 0-11. That's where I'm at. I think they're going to go 0-11. Like I was talking with Medic about this, and he and I were like, who do we think is fighting for bottom 4? And at first. This was after one game, like both he and I were like, it's probably SK somewhere in like 8-9 somewhere, and then Heretics is probably like 9-10 somewhere. And so I think that if they cannot beat SK or Heretics, but they needed to beat KCB, not beating KCB, I think is crazy. Now after watching Heretics and watching SK, I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna happen.
We need a bet.
We need a bet.
There's no way they're 0-11. We'll think about
you don't
this.
Think
we have
so?
time. We don't need to make
Did you not listen to the Gyoto interview where he said their goal should be getting a game?
It's because everyone hates them. Like everyone in the LEC wants to humiliate them. So they're all going to be trying extra hard to not be the team to lose to LR.
Okay, the classic Jatt situation would be you would sit there and come back to me next week and you would look at the stats of how many teams in best of ones have ever gone 0-11 or like have never won a game. Because,
I'll get that stat.
Because I think Origin was the only team that ever came close, and they went 1-17. We had double round Robin best of threes, and I think that they lost all of their best. But even in that, they won what games?
Yeah,
but
the worst team in LCS history was Coast, and they went 1-17. But they won their second game, so like they were way ahead of schedule.
Oh, Crepa reminded me that NA at Worlds was 0-8 at some point. But
actually it was 0-10.
He made that hilarious pun, didn't he? Because then he goes, because then we can C9.
Yeah, but we saw
and I think
10,
they lost
actually.
that game.
No, we saw 10. They lost that game, and then they lost a tiebreaker. But before that, they'd won a bunch of games. So they're still not 11 in a row.
Okay, I mean, you're telling me that statistically, especially in a best of one environment, it is improbable that LR will go 0. I think even when KC went 10th place, they still didn't get 0 wins. They still won at least one game.
Yeah, well, they would have played 9 games at the time, right? But because you guys had that weird, you were in the like.
We had this format.
LEC.
We had this format, yeah.
Yeah, but with a fewer games. I just think based on how competitive they are in lane, that they're going to have a game where they're just ahead, and they get one good fight. And they're fine.
Fair. Okay.
I just think that's going to happen. Okay. Yeah, KC went 2-7, man, in their 9th place.
There you go.
Yeah, this team is fine.
This team is fine.
Tell me about other teams. We need to talk about other teams. It's not. We need to talk about
Sure.
actual LEC teams, Vedius.
Actual
not
LEC
these,
teams. You
not
said it.
these
You said it, not me. You
influencer
said it.
ERL teams. Yeah. Can't have this streamer team be the main point of our LEC LCS podcast.
Okay, sure.
What are we
Which
doing?
team are you interested in? Because there's a lot, and we can't talk about all of them. Obviously.
Nobody is 3-0.
That's
which
true. I
find
was
interesting.
shocked Koi lost.
So we have Fnatic, Giant X, KC, Vitality, Navi, and I wrote down the wrong name, but technically their name is Shifters.
Right, yeah.
And Koi. A ton of 2-1 teams.
Yeah.
You get
Some
to tell me
2-1s
who is the best one.
Some
Who
2-1s
is
are
the
not
best
like
one?
the other 2-1s. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah.
So
Give me a
obviously-
quick power ranking of the 2-1s.
So Koi is objectively better than all of them. That's not even, I don't even think.
But
that
they
that's a
lost to
debate.
the Shifters.
They did lose to the Shifters, yes, and I think that that's
Okay.
more of a nature of the best of ones than it is the
Okay.
the quality of the team. So like, I mean, Koi beat both G2 and KC, and it wouldn't surprise me. Like, I'm being a Koi apologist now, but like, it wouldn't surprise me if coming into this week they said we're going to prep G2, we're going to prep KC, and we've been scrimming Shifters, we've been beating them in scrim, so we just won't do as much prep for them. It would not surprise me at all if that's how it went. And then when they went into the game, they were probably more. I mean, JoJo's always disrespectful, so I like the way he plays lane. He doesn't care.
He just lost focus, dude. He was in scrim brain right there on
100%
stage.
was. Yeah. So I mean, they got stomped. I think that Koi is still the best team right now, based on what I've seen in terms of gameplay. I already feel like I see a difference in Mirwin. Maybe that's just me coping, but I feel like that he respects his opponent a lot more in lane, and I feel like that his presence on the map is just a little bit different from what we saw last year. But admittedly, last year winter, when he'd just come back from Worlds, I also felt like he played really well, and then as the year went on, he started making more mistakes. But I think Koi is objectively the best. Fnatic is a really difficult team for me to judge. I have no idea how good Fnatic is.
They actually managed to win 2 games.
Yeah, their win against
It didn't
Na'Vi.
feel like it.
Their win against Na'Vi was Na'Vi losing the game. That was not Fnatic winning. I mean, their comp did outscale, admittedly, and so once they punished the one mistake from Na'Vi, like they played the rest of the game just fine. But as a team, I'm very suspicious of Fnatic. I cannot tell how good they are. GX's wins, most fraudulent of the whole weekend. They should have been 0-3. They should have been right at the bottom of they should have been. That team, I remember earlier I said that I think GX will be top 6. I've completely changed my opinion.
Good.
I think that right now they're fighting like 8 through 12. That's where they are.
What's bad? Why are they bad?
I feel like that they have. I think their top laner is not very good. I think Lot is getting bullied by every top laner. I think I've seen him get solo killed twice now by 2 different tops. I think Mainter solo killed him, and then another top laner solo killed him as well.
Yeah, but you were telling me Mainter is the best.
I mean, Mainter is good. I think
week.
he's great. Yeah.
Okay.
He's a really good rookie. I do like him a lot. But GX to me, like their win against Shifters, you saw the base race, right?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I mean, Shifters just
Amazing
inted
game.
that. They just completely inted that. They shouldn't have tried to
So
end.
what you're saying is Shifters should be 3-0.
I guess so. Yeah, I guess they should be 3-0. Yes.
I mean, that's just the best of one Tom.
I mean, it is
that
just the
always
best of
happens.
one. I kind of, we don't really have time to talk about it, but I want to understand why people hate best of one so much. So I'll just tell you my take now very quickly.
Okay.
I think that best of ones are completely fine as long as your playoff format is adequate enough to help you figure out who the best team actually is, right? And because the playoffs has best of 3 double elimination with best of 5s in there as well, like I think that's completely fine, right? So in my mind, like I don't have an issue with a best of 1 format where its purpose is to have every team play just a bunch of games. And it's not super accurate as to who the best teams are. Like, it's 100% not accurate at all. Because you have to draw very large conclusions from only single game sample sizes, and each of their opponents, it varies so wildly. And it also just kind of, there's so much historical evidence to suggest that the good teams win more games and the bad teams lose more games, right? There is a ton of evidence. So it's not like when you've got 8 teams qualifying for playoffs, it probably what will happen is 7, 8, 9, 10 are probably interchangeable, right? Those teams that share those spots, you're right that if we'd had a slightly better format, you could actually figure out who the best 7th was, who the best 8th was, and whatnot. But 1 through 6, while the order might not be correct, you'll probably get the 6 best teams, more or less.
I agree.
And so to me, I don't know why people hate best of 1 so much, because I don't know why people feel the need to know who the best team is when the seasons are very... Because I think given, like, as the LCK is doing, the only way you can make all those games happen is if you have 2 groups. That's, in my head, the only realistic way that you can fit with this many teams, that many games in with the schedule that you have. So in that way, you wouldn't get to see all of these teams play against each other. And I personally think
there'd be no opportunity for every single team to beat Los Ratones, like consecutively, which is, I think, one of the main goals of this format change, as we're learning.
And again, like, I'm not saying that people are invalid for their opinion, right? People are allowed to hate on what they hate. But personally, like, I don't think the best of 1s are egregiously terrible, because I think that they filter out the bad teams to the playoffs, which is ultimately what you care about, at least in my opinion.
I think it does feel like a little bit of a clown show when you have so much variability from game to game.
That's valid.
And then I think the staleness of the meta can get there.
That's a very valid point.
That's why you need the small doses. And I think the start of season is also a pretty good time to do it, because technically we haven't seen a huge amount of Jace, Orianna, Rumble, Malphite, Nico, Varus, Azir, Mbessa, Yunar, Alistair, J4. Like, these are the champions that are banned in every single game. That's the list of... I made the list of the most banned champions. Like, that's the meta. That's going to be the meta for the whole thing. Yeah. And then once we start Fearless, it's going to change. So I'm actually in agreement that I like them in small doses. I especially think that you shouldn't flame them as long as the Worlds format is best of 1 Swiss as well. So there's a legitimate argument that you need to have a little bit of best of 1 practice if the international events are still doing best of 1s.
Do you know
if
the
they change the Worlds
first
format?
Stand?
No. Dude, I don't know nothing.
Yeah, I
First
don't
stand, MSI's probably staying about the same.
That will always
They seem
stay
happy
full
with that
best
one.
of 5s. Yeah, that one, I think that's a good tournament anyway.
Yeah. Well, there was that one year where they did 60 best of 1s, and then they played 3 best of 5s. That was something.
Yes, that
was something. At least you're not doing that in the LEC.
Correct.
Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, it's also just for 4 weeks, I guess, in my head. Like, again, I'm not trying to sit there and say that people aren't valid and feeling frustrated by best of 1s, but to me, it's but yeah, the reality is that it means that you overreact, because right now, like, G2 look very bad. Outside of their match versus SK, where they kind of made fun. That one felt very personal from the side of G2.
Nobody cares that G2 is bad. They have enough trust built up.
Probably.
I do wish they would have gone 0-3 though, just for the Los Ratones G2 comparison. Like, if you're going to be flaming my boy Reckless, apparently, I'm the biggest Reckless apologist ever for not winning a game. Why aren't you flaming Caps? You know?
True.
Same record. But it's not there.
No, they did kind of make fun of SK just a little bit. But yeah, I think that G2, they genuinely look weak, shaky first week. Absolutely. Not sure why, to be honest. I don't even think their meta read was particularly bad. But they played out of sorts, in my opinion. So G2 is messy. KC, I think, was completely solid. Their only loss of the weekend was to Koi. And while their game versus LR was a little bit shaky, absolutely, I'm not too worried about them at all. I think that they're still fighting.
I'm a little worried about Yahoo, is how you say it, right?
Yahoo.
Their mid laner. He seems like he needs more time.
Probably.
He's not blowing people away in lane, and I feel like they need some coordination. So it makes sense for a younger Korean player, but that's the biggest question mark on that team for me.
Yeah. I think that's completely valid.
We need to do LCS.
But Busio's cool.
You got to do LCS.
Busio's cool. He's doing well.
He is an LCS player. You know, and I feel like any player from North America just immediately runs your league.
Oh, really? Like, they just run the league?
Yeah, I mean, look at Yukino. He had a bunch of LFL Division 2 players, and he took down your best influencer team, no problem. And then we got JoJo,
true,
who you said is on the best team.
Yeah, true.
You know, not to mention Busio on another one of your best teams.
That's a great point.
You are a little over-reliant on North America in more ways than one. But let's talk about the LCS because we're actually playing. We spent 40 minutes on your league.
30 minutes. I want to 10 minutes talking about our memory game.
Oh, true. We talked about 2016 Worlds. C9TL is the first game, which is actually really cool because on paper they're the best teams. But I also have to.
What time? Tell me. Are they? Is it Friday or Saturday?
1 p.m. 1 p.m. PST on Saturday.
So that's 10 p.m. for us, or is that 9 p.m.?
So
What time is it right now where you are?
it is 10:41.
And it's
So
7:41
in 2
here.
hours and 20 minutes.
2 hours
10.
and 20 minutes? Then yeah, it would be 10
10.
p.m. 10 p.m. here.
10
yeah.
p.m. Central European Standard Time.
Yeah.
So LEC needs to move up their start time, Vedi.
We have been
just
finishing
saying.
somewhere between 10 and 11 p.m. That is correct. Yeah.
Correct. I really hope that happens so that you can watch The Waiting Room before our show. Anyway, the one fear I have about lock-in at the moment
Yeah.
is there are a lot of visa issues
I have seen that.
in the LCS.
I saw a thread that says 6 out of
And
18 visa issues or something.
yeah, but we still got a week. We still got, 4 days. Morgan, currently not there. TL have the other 4 players. Morgan's
Yeah.
a big acquisition for them.
Absolutely, yeah.
C9,
Lord
C9's
Morgan.
fine. Yeah, C9's fine. Sentinels has everyone. Dignitas is playing with 2 subs at least. Their FBI and Ignar are having some struggle bus. Shopify Rebellion got Zinni, so they're going to have everyone as well.
Okay.
And Berserker might be there in time for Lion. So like there are teams that are having issues, but I'm hoping that they get there. Plus, it is Swiss. So even if TL drops week 1 to C9, they could still win the next 2 rounds of Swiss.
Let me look at your groups.
Continue
I
to
didn't
move
actually
on.
see them.
We don't have groups. So
But you have 2 brackets, don't you?
no. So you can go to our new website, lcsofficial.gg, which also
I'll do
includes
that.
fantasy, by the way, which is pretty cool.
Official.
So it goes C9 TL.
Great plug.
We got
great
Sentinels, DSG.
It's asking me
Then
to
the next
log in. I'm already kind of. All right, I'll log in.
Don't
I'll
do that
log
on
in.
stream, man. Careful. Okay, FlyQuest, Shopify, and then Lion Dig. That's the first matchup. But it's just Swiss, so there's no groups. Like, that's just the round 1 of Swiss. We did a draw.
Oh.
Winners will play winners, losers will play losers. And then after 3 rounds of Swiss, the 3-0 team will be top seed. There's some qualification stuff to kick out the bottom team and some tiebreaker stuff to get in there. But it's basically 3 weeks of Swiss, and then we'll do a 16 playoff bracket to send a team to first stand. I have some.
Okay.
While you're logging in, I have some C9 TL.
Your website's
lore
already
for you.
frustrating me. It's asking me for a lot of information.
Do you not know your League of Legends login? Like it's
Okay,
linked
no,
to
that's not the
Riot
problem.
Games.
So first of all, I log in. It says before starting your own team, let's select your favorite squads from the LCS. Which
Correct.
I'm like, okay, cool. I'll just pick one, right? So I've picked one, right?
Yeah.
And
What team did you
now
pick?
I moved on to the next. Now I'm not leaking that.
Yeah.
Now let's start to create your own squad. Jack, I just want the info, man. What are we?
I mean,
what
it's
are
a
we doing?
fantasy website. It's a fantasy website.
Okay,
It's for-
I'm going
it's for
back to
LCS
Leaguepedia.
fantasy.
I'm going back to Leaguepedia,
Okay.
Jack. So help me understand. So hang on. I gotta find your league because this is confusing me.
Okay.
Because in my head it was like Valorant. That's how you were doing it. So you. Why am I struggling with this? You have 2 groups
man.
of 4 that then
No, we don't.
seed into.
We don't have groups. We don't have groups.
You just have one big bracket.
Yeah.
Well, then how is this Swiss? What about? Isn't this just a tournament bracket? Double elimination.
So now you're confusing me. Round 1 of Swiss is just going to be everyone draws into each other, and then the 1-0 teams will play against the 1-0 teams, and the 0-2 teams will play against the 0-2 teams.
Oh, okay. I've confused it because I immediately scrolled down to your playoffs bracket and assumed that
Correct.
this was your regular season
That
bracket.
is not
but
the
that's
Swiss
not what's
bracket.
happening.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I see. So they were randomly chosen. So TL and C9 just happened to get each other.
They just happened to draw each other.
I see.
Azale did the draw with
Right.
the teams
Okay.
and gave us a great opening matchup, which
Yeah,
is
that is a
good
great opening
because, yeah. I need to give some lore about these teams from last year, which I didn't do last time. I've done all this prep for LCS Week 1 that I need to share with you because
Okay.
it's going to expire as soon as they play. I won't
Yeah,
be able to tell
you go
any
ahead.
of-
I mean,
any
you do
of
have a
last
whole
year's
broadcast
stats.
to also utilize this prep. That's all right.
No, it's only this podcast. This is all I
Only
have in
this
life.
one. That's all you got. Okay, got it.
Okay. Blabber is a player who didn't make it to All-Pro last year
Okay.
for the first time in forever, man. He's
Well, I
only
mean-
had 2 splits since he became a full-time starter in 2020 where he wasn't in first, second, or third team All-Pro.
He was
And
in
last
the
split was one of
All-Pro
those splits.
at all.
At all.
Who kicked him out?
Yeah. So River,
Yeah, that makes
Inspired.
sense.
Inspired,
That also makes
obviously,
sense.
player of the year.
Yeah, that makes sense.
and then Contracts. Contracts kicked out Blabber.
That's really
He kicked him out of the league, man.
How do
They
you
beat him in
do?
playoffs
How
in
do
the
you
best
do
of five.
All Pro? How is your All Pro based on regular season, or is it based on what's it based on?
So here was the issue with our All Pro last year,
Tell me.
because technically our playoffs wasn't until the LTA championship. Our playoffs was part of the regular season.
Oh, ew. That's
So we
kinda
didn't
weird.
do the All Pro vote until after Shopify had already beaten C9 in a best of 5.
Okay, Captain Flowers just said Blabber kicked Blabber out.
Not wrong. So here's some interesting Blabber stats.
Go ahead.
In the summer split, he was ranked 1 in gold difference at 15 amongst all junglers, and CSD at 15. And XP difference at 15. So he had the most gold and the most experience difference at 15. But he was last amongst all junglers in First Bloods. Only
Okay.
19% of the games was he involved in First Blood. So all he was doing is farming,
Okay.
which is why he was low impact. So he's going to have to he's going to have to gank more.
But then what was, because my immediate question would then be like, because the thing about me for stats is they should be used to kind of ask questions, right? But in theory, wasn't that how Inspired was branded, as the farming jungler? But his impact was always felt. So what was the key difference between Blabber and Inspired? Like what
Better
made-
First Blood percentage.
That was what was Inspired. Do you know it?
I'd have to log into the stats
Okay,
thing
okay,
again,
okay.
and it's just
Again,
too far
logging
away.
in. I'm already seeing a barrier to entry here, chat.
It's too far away. It wasn't near the bottom. It was like middle of the pack. He was finding the thing with Inspired is he was always in the right place at the right time. That was the story we told.
Fair enough.
Another interesting thing about C9,
Yeah.
Thanatos was just an incredible laner, which I think is going to be to their benefit now that every game seems to have this like level 20 top laner, and staying in your lane is so important because of all the turret gold that's just been given away like candy for everyone every time you leave. So like having lane control I think is super important. I think it's going to be really good for them. Sven was low-key really solid the entire year. He was second in kills per game, first in KDA, lowest in average deaths, second in DPM, first in kill participation, and only was the First Blood victim in 2 of 59 games, which was best amongst all 80 carries.
Question,
So he was
though.
passive, but still effective, is what I
But
would say.
What was your ranking for all pro Vedi carries?
That's a great question. You're
Come on, I
hitting me
was
with
trusting
things
on
that
the
I need
Jat.
to look up on
I was
Wikipedia.
trusting the Jat.
The Jat memory.
Here.
The
Yes.
Jat memory. Okay, let me try and give
Because
it to
I can
you.
tell you
from
who
memory.
all pro was.
Well,
for
FlyQuest
spring
got
last
all of
year.
the FlyQuest got all the All Pro pretty much.
Okay, so Marcy was number
Marcy
one.
would have been first. LYON is up there, and Sven's up there. There's no way it's not those three. It was those three.
You're really confident on that, because Captain Flowers, I reckon, will have the answer. I just got to wait for him to throw it out there.
Okay, that's probably faster than me trying to click it on Wikipedia. But it's really hard to Leaguepedia us because freaking LTA, like, oh my goodness. I got to click LTA 2025, split 3. I'm going to beat Flowers to this. And why do you care?
I'm just trying
By
to
the
make
way-
a point. Was that like, so for me, Cloud9 last year was, they were really frustrating to watch. I mean, I feel like I said this last week. I felt like that they
I was
were on
wrong. B-Boy got third team over Sven, which I think is a robbery.
So here we
It's a highway
go.
robbery.
Here we go. So what we're talking about is
Yeah.
we've got two members of C9. Have we discovered that it's C9 Jat? Is that what we've come to learn?
Yeah.
Because on paper, like, so you told me about that. Does Liquid have their full roster, or are they missing some people because of the visa? The Morgan,
They're going to be
right?
missing Morgan,
The
but they have
Morgan.
everyone else.
I
Yeah,
will refer
Lord
to him
Morgan.
as the Morgan from now on.
The Morgan. So here's the interesting thing about this is both teams I think are kind of arguing about who would have won the offseason, because I think the point is C9 collapsed at the end of the year,
Yes.
even though they had pretty good stats the entire time.
Though they got second in spring, didn't they? And then the MSI
Split two.
changes. Yeah.
Split 2 they got second.
Yeah, yeah,
Split
yeah.
1 they lost to 100 Thieves
And
in
then they lost because of the
semifinals.
whole LTA North thing. They lost the MSI spot.
Correct.
Yeah,
And then they
okay.
got one and done in Saudi Arabia, which just jet lagged them like crazy before split 3, and I think demoralized them a bit.
Yeah.
And then they just almost lost to DSG in a best of 5 before losing to Shopify in a best of 5, and then I think
And then
getting
they
knocked
lost
out
to
by
100 Thieves. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Lots of bad stuff. Like,
Lots
I'm
of
not going
bad
to sugarcoat it. Lots of bad stuff. But across the year,
Yeah.
they were easily the second best team in terms of overall wins and losses. They just
Sure.
fell apart at the very end.
Okay, fair
TL,
enough.
on the other hand,
And
listen
they've
to
got
this.
Dom now. They've got Dom now.
Yeah, they had him last year.
But
But
in
remote.
a different position, right? Yeah.
Yep. And the KC coach, Reaper, they got rid of him. So watch out for that. Maybe, some like it really depends on how they do. Like if Busio does well, it's because he's great.
Right.
If he does poorly, it's because he was overrated.
Got
it was all inspired. Who's still in the
100%.
LCS, by the way.
Thank you for that qualification.
Didn't want to go to LEC.
Just want to clarify, he's still in LCS. We
Still
kept him.
here.
Not a big
Player
deal.
of the year.
Yep.
Still here.
Yep.
Team Liquid collapsed in an insane way. Split 1, they were the champions. Okay.
Okay.
Split 2, they only won 54% of their games. In Split 3, they won 23% of their games. They were atrocious, man. So it completely makes sense that they blew up that team, brought in Quid
Yep.
in top lane,
Well,
brought in
everyone
Jose
Quid,
in
yeah.
jungle, and have Morgan. And
But-
did you...
Yeah, go on.
Yeah,
Finish your point,
go
and then
for
I
it.
have questions. I have some questions.
I think I'll take questions now because I was going to keep...
Okay.
it's going to get too
Thank you,
confusing if
Professor
I keep
Jatt.
going.
So,
Yeah.
first of all, they also beat EU at first stand. They did do that.
Yes.
And then they proceeded
Very
to lose
well.
every other game afterwards.
Every other game. Job done. They just mission accomplished.
Yes.
Put up the banner.
They
It was-
called EU trash, and then they left. And then-
and they just outed things.
yeah, so I'll give you that too. There you go. W for NA. Jose Diodo is the one for me that is massive question mark. Of all the jungle options they could get, I do not think that this is really that big of a deal. Because
Okay, who else could they have gotten?
of the few times that I've seen Jose Diodo, like I want to say he used to play for FlyQuest too at one point. There was a FlyQuest era, and he didn't really impress me then. And I want to say that he played for another team too, but I can't remember who it was. I could just click.
Yeah,
it
I mean,
and
he
check.
was on Isurus Gaming in LTA South last
Well,
year.
I mean, I think I saw him internationally a couple of times. Like I think on Rainbow Seven. I
yeah.
saw him
Before he
compete
joined LCS,
internationally.
he really popped off in Worlds in 2020, which is how a lot of people knew him. But before that, I will say, here's some Team Liquid lore.
Yeah.
He was this insane solo queue player in 2020 that Core JJ and Tactical would always talk about. Because the general manager of TL is Dodo,
Oh.
and his name is Jose Diodo.
Right.
But we would always just call him Jose Dodo
Right.
because, yeah.
Sure.
So we knew Core was like, this guy's good back in 2020. And this is
Okay.
before he popped off at Worlds.
Fair.
And I actually tried to sign him in 2021 for TLA.
Yep.
But because other teams, FlyQuest could give him a starting role, and we were only offering Academy,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
went for FlyQuest.
That makes sense.
But TL's had their eye on Jose Dodo for like over 5 years.
Oh.
and-
Okay.
And he's not an import. And Spawn really wanted Korean solo laners.
Fair.
Whether or not you agree with the obsession of importing Koreans, especially with visa issues,
Well, honestly,
but
I
that's
do
why.
get it. As much as I've over the years said like we should believe in the homegrown talent. Like when we get to international competition, I sit there and always tell myself, like, we should all be good enough at laning to a point where we're not just getting bodied in lane, right? And then that's not true. We get to internationals and then we do in fact get bodied in lane. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe an import or two might not be too bad. But then again, Kana, best top laner all year, then he loses the most important best of 5 to make it to Worlds to Oscar Rinnan of all people. So, hey. Yeah.
You've made me bring this up, and I don't want this to become an imports versus domestic players.
Okay.
But I've been cooking on this analogy, and I haven't told anyone about it. Imports are like fossil fuels. They're this non-renewable resource.
Okay.
Like they give you so much power in the short term,
Yeah.
but like part of the reason that imports come in and dominate the lane
Yeah.
is the environment that they were in with the best solo queue in the world, speaking specifically of Korean imports,
Yeah.
just allowed them this incredible amount of practice.
Okay.
So you fill up your tank of gas,
Yeah.
and then you go to EU and NA solo queue. But how are you going to fill up your tank with your solo queue mechanics unless you go back to Korea?
Okay, question.
Where the... Okay.
Impact. Is he not just a counter to that point?
Well, he's American now. He's got a green card. So he's
Yes,
just...
but is he not the... You
He's
said
found
that
ways to
you
renew
said
his
that it was... Okay, Bjergsen.
I mean, is there really a difference between EU and NA solo queue? I'm talking about Korean
No, no.
imports.
Okay. Let me find another one. Like I feel like what
It
about
would be exceptions, but the overall feel of imports decreasing a little bit over time, and then
that?
needing to fill up
Sure,
the tank.
sure.
It's
I kind of get it. Yeah.
Yeah, you need
Could,
to invest in your own renewable energy sources. Like when G2 went all European, I think that was the best team that they've ever had. But at the same time, in the short term, like just throwing that import in there who's going to be top 3 in the league in laning is going to give you a lot of short-term success.
yeah.
But the
I mean
memory of
now
the team is going to be a little bit
now
lower.
you make me want to talk about Poby. So we gotta move on before I start talking about EU again.
Yeah,
So
I know.
quickly,
I
go
opened
on.
a can of worms with that
You
one.
have all this prep,
That's
so
a can of
share
worms.
more of this prep with me. Great analogy. Flowers hates it, but that's all right. You can
Where
work
was
that
I?
out with him on the show. You've talked about
Yeah,
two
we'll talk
teams
about it
so
later.
far,
Captain
Liquid
Flowers.
and
Well, they're the
Cloud9.
best teams. They're the best
Okay,
teams. I'm gonna.
that's.
Did you know?
Where's
NA
your
tag,
streamer team? Which one is your streamer team?
have you heard about NA Tag Team?
I have not.
Yeah, it was this cool thing. One of our creators, David Shynock, who you would know of if you were on TikTok, he's got
Okay,
63,000
Being
followers on
called
TikTok.
out.
He posts
That's
twice a day.
cool. Okay.
But he organized this thing because they allowed dual queue in pro play, or sorry, in dual queue for the first patch of the ladder. So he time boxed it and said, yes, he used to be 100 Thieves guy, but now he's teamless. He's going to select a team. Team Liquid dominated this tag team event. It was essentially you signed up with another player on your team and you just dual queued and who can climb highest on the ladder and dual queue.
Oh, isn't
But
that the rise of the Demacia thing? Medic and Brox
so
are doing that right
there's
now.
also an NAEU thing for like streamers. This was just LCS Pro players.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah. So similar concept. Either way, at the time, like Team Liquid, the 4 players that are here, all made it to top 11 on the ladder. Like by the end of the tag team event, Quid was rank 1, Jose was rank 12, CoreJJ was rank 3, Yon was rank 5. So CoreJJ Yon were one duo. They won the event. Jose Quid were second in the event. And there was a bunch of LCS players in this as well. Like C9, Vulcan and Sven signed up, Blabber and APA signed up. They just got dominated by TL. So TL's solo queue at the moment is just so much higher than everyone else. And at least historically, whenever I've seen a team that is just pretty much everyone on the team top 10 in the whole server's ladder, they're almost always the best team or close to the best team when the season starts.
Okay, yeah. My only counterpoint to that is last year we talked a fair amount about G2. We had a ranking of teams and their cumulative elo. Because there was a period in time where G2, they had all of their players within the top 10. And so because all of the players had something like 1.2k LP each or something, like their cumulative elo got up to like 7,000 or something, which was like 1,000, 1,500 above the next closest team to them. And so we were just talking about how like they've just been really grinding. But then that was when Casey won winter and then Koi won spring. G2 did make finals in both, but so I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I think high expectations, perfectly reasonable at Liquids, but I will say
me, this just supports my point. Like G2 is your best team.
Well, not right now, they're not, but yeah.
Well,
I haven't looked at the
overall.
EU solo queue ladder. I don't know what that. I've heard that's a mess right now because there was some weird bug that was going on. But LYON, are they good? That's where Inspired stayed, and they've got Berserker back, and Dokler, the GOAT, is back.
They're going to be good, but it's a little bit weird. I just actually read an Inspired interview this morning.
Okay,
which
do you know who it's from?
I
should
like.
quote
I
the
like what he
interviewer
said.
if we can. It's just good manners. We should credit the
I know
authors.
you're right. You're right.
It's good practice.
This
We
is a
should do
bad
that.
habit that all of us casters have.
That's true.
But I can't. How do you look at the? I
Well,
don't
just
know
if
who
you find
did
the
it.
website. Who is the website on? That's fine. If you have the website, that's fine.
I don't have it.
Oh, unlucky. All right.
I know.
Well, we'll hopefully.
I'm
going to
do better next time.
We'll hopefully put it in the comments, won't you, Jack?
I'm gonna put it in the comments.
There you go.
I'm gonna put it in the comments.
Great.
Yeah. I liked his mindset because the quote that I got clickbaited in with was about not looking ahead to international events yet, and how he needs to focus on his domestic success first and getting used to his new teammates, which I just think is a recipe for success. Any team in the past, I feel like, that starts the year saying that international is their goal almost always sets themselves up for failure.
Yeah, fair.
because it just demoralizes you and it doesn't give you enough energy for the journey of how you actually need to improve throughout the year to actually have a chance internationally. And I'll
Yeah.
also say at the beginning of last year, when FlyQuest kept their whole roster together and it got people really excited because the continuity was there, Inspired wasn't really into that. I remember a lot of his interviews were like, yeah, it's pretty weird having all the same players here again. Like usually you have something new to, change things up. So we'll see how it goes. It's pretty much what he was saying in stage interviews. So I think the process of getting people on the same page gives him energy, and he completely ran out of energy last year, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I don't think the team is going to immediately find success. First off, I do think Dokla Inspired is a very, very different pairing than Bwipo Inspired. Because Bwipo is this ultra aggressive, makes the game about him player.
Yeah.
And I think Dokla is a really good weak side player who's good at fitting in. So you need a different lane to be ultra aggressive, which pretty much has to be Saint. I don't necessarily think Berserker's an ultra aggressive laner. And I'm also not even sure if they're starting the year with Berserker. He's the one that's most up there in terms of whether or not he's going to be here for Visa. I know that I'm pretty sure they got Saint, Inspired, Dokla, and Isles are all there and fine to go. So they're going to be a team with a pretty high ceiling, but they're big question marks around their fit, their tilt, and whether or not Inspired can continue the form that he had last year.
So who is your top 3 right now, based on paper?
A C9 Jatt. C9's number 1.
Yeah.
Because TL doesn't have Morgan.
Yeah.
So it's pretty free. TL2, LYON 3, Shopify 4.
Shopify 4?
Shopify 4.
Is it weird that I'm just mega invested in this Sentinels roster? Is that weird?
No. You love Korean imports. So
well, you told me Huki's American and Impact is American, right?
True. Yeah. I'm glad
so
you're
actually
listening.
it's an American roster. There's Darkwing.
Yes.
I see that American flag flying next to his name.
3 out of 5 NA players for sure.
Yeah. So, and then they've got Golden Glue coach. Who did he was 100 Thieves, right? That's what I remember.
He was 100 Thieves. And they consistently overperformed with him as their coach. So
and
I like their
Rahel,
chance.
Shout out to Rahel, had one really good split in the LEC, disappeared.
To NA, whereas if you perform well.
Well, I mean, he definitely played more than once. I think he
NA.
played 2 splits, if I'm not. Or did he play the whole year?
Yeah, you told me. And they replaced his. He had weird support stuff go on that
there was all
tanked
sorts
his
of weird
performance.
stuff. Yeah.
But he was really good on DSG. He had the highest gold percentage in the league, so he was the hyper carry for them.
Nice.
He took all the gold, and he did a good job carrying. No, that team should be.
Who are they playing?
They might be 4th.
Sentinels are playing Disguise. That should be easy dubs, no?
Especially because 3 of those players were on Disguise last year. They just took their team. Yeah, they just literally took their team, which is a funny thing. And Disguised, I think not only do they have visa issues, their coach, Ido, this is a bit of a Disguised story that will be a great storyline if it happens. They know they're never able to get the top players because they're a guest slot.
Right.
So they just isn't a bunch of security. So that's part of the reasons that they lost players to Sentinels, because Sentinels is part of a franchised org. So we're not going to have to play the promotion tournament at the end of the year. We just get to be in the LCS.
That makes sense.
Anyway, their whole idea is okay, we're going to be working with less resources. We have to be creative. So Kryra, their jungler for DSG, they're going to go all in on making it a jungle-focused team. We're going to put all our resources into Kryra and play differently. But he might not be here week 1. So if he has visa issues, I'm going to say Sentinels are strong favorites. Okay. Strong favorites.
Strong favorites. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
In fact, if you're making a fantasy team and you want points in week 1, strongly recommend Sentinels players based on strength of opponents.
Okay. You heard it here first. You got the inside scoop.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay, cool.
That's
so
my
wait,
week
are you
1
just
strategy.
playing Saturday, Sunday? Is it best of 3? Yeah. Is it back-to-back best of 3s?
Yeah, 2 best of 3 Saturday, 2 best of 3 Sunday. It's like that pretty much every week.
Damn. Imagine having 8
Pretty
teams
rarely
in
we'll
the
play
league.
Fridays.
Must be nice.
You're doing 6 games a day, 3 times a week.
Yes, we are.
We're doing,
correct.
I mean, we could get up to 6 games a day if we go 2-1.
That's accurate,
but
yeah.
it's unlikely.
It's unlikely. Wow.
Okay, we're at an hour 5.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair I think that's a fair
In my
LCS
head, I'm
ranking.
just realizing, God, there's so many LEC teams that I did not talk about. Oh,
Which
there's
is
so
fine.
many. Yeah, I mean, it is.
If turn on their stream a little bit more, we'd care about their personalities, like Los Ratones,
Okay,
and
without
we
any
talk about
context, if
them.
people have just tuned in now, they're not going to get that at all. They're just going to think that you're just flaming them, being like, God, I wish these players would stream more. This is ridiculous. This is
Yeah, it's
crazy.
about the personality and the passion.
Okay, the last thing that I will say then is Navi are becoming quickly one of my favorite teams.
Okay,
But we don't have
that's
time to
great.
explain why. So there we are. I will not give
Tune in next
context
week.
as to why. Tune in next week. Do you
Let's
want to
just
spend
spend
4 minutes talking about the
yes,
game?
yes, 5, maybe 10. I
Maybe
do think it's
10.
important. There are okay. Is it because you need to answer this earnestly?
Sure. I love
Is it
Ernest.
because LEC teams are bad at ending the game, or are we just gonna see level 20 top laners and 7 out of 80 carries in every freaking game? Because I swear I kept skimming to these end of these LEC games, and I'd always see level 20 top laners and 80 carries on like 6 to 7 items.
I think that teams do not effectively play with the leads that they have. Um, I think right now, my biggest frustration with the game as a spectator is it just feels like one team is drafting stronger side laner, weaker team fighting. Other team is drafting full team fight. And it feels like that the side lane element, like Riot introduced more stuff to side laners to want to make split pushing a viable strategy. But the pros have decided that dragons are just too strong and we have to focus on dragons. So I feel like that LEC teams aren't that good at playing around sides as well as they should be. And I don't think that they're the best at converting. Well, I mean, this has been a common sentiment, and I agree with it, which is that the problem with bringing Baron back to 20 minutes is that you can't then just end the game. You don't have enough control over the map to just immediately end the game. So you need 2 Barons. And then there's this big lull time where I think teams make really dumb mistakes. They do something silly, they get caught, the game drags out. But generally, I'd say that the vast majority of games have ended around 31 minutes, based on what I can remember. And normally
No
a team
way.
that is winning. Yeah, it's true. I think that we've had
I'm
a
gonna
couple.
guess it's
It's true.
33.
Shifters, I know objectively have had the longest average game time.
LEC versus 18 games, average game duration 33:58. Get that 31 minutes out of
Okay,
here,
I
man.
was
34
close.
minute average.
I think shifters have dragged it up. They must have.
Yeah,
Because
that's
they
a
had
minute and a half longer than China, and LCK Cup is at 30. See, that's League of Legends right there.
yeah, but
That's
LCK
whatever Korea does is the best.
but they're really good. Like I don't know if you know this, real good. Because I've been rewatching some of their games to be like, because my first impression after day one of casting was, wow, the game feels so dead between 0 and 10 minutes now. It feels like that you can't do anything. Everyone's just locked into lanes. Junglers are just full clearing. And I was like, wow, is this just what the meta is? And then I watched an LCK game. It was Nongshim versus HLE. And I was like, nope, the game's not dead in that space. No.
Pretty bloody.
That is an LEC thing specifically. Apparently, you can do lots of things within that 0 to 10 minute mark.
I do feel like LCK Cup is a bit of a fiesta. They're averaging 31 kills a game in 30-minute games, which
sick.
that's crazy.
But it is
high.
backloaded, probably. It's almost certainly backloaded.
Probably. That's something.
But
I
they're
might
also
need to
just they're
check
just
at the
very
moment.
good at, like, they have so many good players now. Their team fighting is just so good.
Yeah.
And our team fighting
mean-
is not as good. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like,
Yeah,
I've
any
genuinely
game with, like without JoJo in it, I just feel like the mechanics aren't quite there because he's the best mechanical mid laner in your whole league, which is
right.
really interesting
so
with where he comes
interesting.
from. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that I don't know. The game feels very rigid, and I do agree with the sentiment that Best of Ones makes the meta feel mega stale. The mid lane pool is so boring. It is Azir, Talia, Ryze, and Orianna, and I do not mind these champions in isolation. But when you have 6 Best of Ones, and in every single Best of One you see a combination of those 4 mid laners, it definitely gets exhausting. So I agree with that. But yeah,
I just feel like the damage seems really high.
You think?
Like people, and Yunara just seems like the most broken champion in the game to me. The amount of burst that she seems to have in mid and late game, where she'll like walk up, alt land a W and auto attack seemingly once or twice, and that's like 80% of somebody's health. I feel like that champion is really rigged at the moment, but we'll see. We'll see it develop. I do think teams will get a little less sloppy
Oh,
and a
absolutely.
little bit better finishing games.
100%. Yeah.
Early season is always like this.
Absolutely. I mean, you even said it. The LCK is mega bloody right now. That's probably
Yeah, that'll slow down. They're
that will
almost never the
100%.
bloodiest region.
Yeah. That will 100% slow down, and I think LEC will progressively get. Again, though, nature of the format, like it's intense, right? You just have to win. You have to win. LR being 0-3 now, like they have. So you have 11 games, right? Which means that they have 8 games left. So if they want to contend for top 8, you probably need at least 4 wins. Probably 4 is usually enough to get you into top 8. Historically, it's when there were 10 teams, it was 4 wins comfortably got you. 3 wins would usually result in some sort of tiebreaker scenario. So the fact that there's 0-3, they got 8 games left. They now need to win the rest of half of the games remaining. So
Sure. Our bet is just about them winning a game or not.
yeah,
I know
true.
we made this.
That is a bet. Yeah, that is.
We're
true.
going to figure out what our bet is, and I think we'll pay it off when we see each other at first stand. I think that's
Yeah, sure.
we need to figure something out. So comments, let us know. I think that's it for this episode, though.
If you want to, we can call it a day.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to end the podcast here. Thanks for watching Mind the Gap. We got a new overlay. The way this works is it's going to be on the JLXP YouTube channel. That's where it's going to live. But it's going to be streaming on Vedius's Twitch channel, twitch.tv/VediusOfficial, at 10 a.m. PST, which is 7 p.m. Central European Standard Time on Tuesdays. And I know people were paying attention because last week we were about 100 viewers. Now we got like 260, 250.
Hell yeah.
It's gaining momentum. Okay.
That's sick.
See you next week. Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.